Tomorrow. It's one of the most dangerous lies you've ever believed. Not because it sounds bad, but because it sounds safe. It feels like a promise, like a second chance, like time is on your side. But it's not. Tomorrow is where dreams go to die. It's where ambition gets delayed, where discipline gets ignored, where potential slowly fades away. You say tomorrow to feel better today, but every time you do that, you're making a silent decision to stay exactly where you are. Think about how many times you've said it. I'll start tomorrow. I'll wake up early tomorrow. I'll go all in tomorrow. I'll fix my life tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and nothing changes. Why? Because the problem was never time. The problem is the habit of delaying your own life. You don't lack opportunity. You don't lack ideas. You don't lack potential. You lack urgency. And urgency is everything. Because when something truly matters to you, you don't wait. You act immediately, without excuses, without hesitation, without negotiating with your comfort. But when it comes to your dreams, you wait, you hesitate, you overthink, you delay, and slowly, without realizing, you build a life of almost started, almost tried, almost became. That's not a life. That's a regret in progress. Look around, right now, at this exact moment. Someone is doing what you keep postponing. Someone is training while you're resting. Someone is learning while you're scrolling. Someone is building while you're doubting. And the gap between you and them? It's not talent. It's not luck. It's action. They decided to move. You decided to wait. And every single day that passes, that gap gets bigger. Time is not neutral. It's either working for you or against you. And right now, if you keep saying tomorrow, it's working against you. Because every day you delay, you lose something you can never recover. Time, energy, momentum, opportunities that will never come back the same way again. You think you have time, but the truth is, you don't know that. None of us do. You are not guaranteed another year, not guaranteed another month, not even guaranteed tomorrow. All you truly have is this moment, right now, and what you do with this moment will define everything. Most people waste it. They distract themselves, they numb themselves, they convince themselves they'll do it later. But later is just another word for never. Because if you can't act now, with what you have, where you are, what makes you think you'll act later? With more pressure, more responsibilities, more fear? You won't. Unless something changes, and that something has to be you. You have to stop negotiating with your potential. Stop lowering your standards. Stop choosing comfort over growth. Because comfort is expensive. It costs you your future. Every time you choose the easy option, you're making your life harder in the long run. And every time you choose the hard option, you're building an easier life for your future self. So the question is simple. Which pain are you choosing? The pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Because one of them is temporary, the other lasts forever. Regret doesn't disappear. It doesn't fade with time. It grows, it gets louder. It shows up when you're alone, when everything is quiet, when there are no distractions left, when it's just you and your thoughts. It whispers, you could have done more. You should have started. You had the chance. And the worst part, it's right. Because deep down, you already know what you should be doing. You've known it for a long time. That idea, that goal, that change you keep avoiding. It's not new. It's been there, waiting. So don't wait for regret to teach you a lesson. Learn it now, before it's too late. Because one day, later becomes too late. And when that happens, there's no reset button, no second version of your life, no going back to the moment you had the chance. That moment, it's now. You don't need motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes like emotion. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel nothing. If you depend on motivation, you will always be inconsistent. What you need is decision, a real decision. A decision that doesn't depend on how you feel, a decision that stays even when things get hard. Not the kind you say once and forget, but the kind you prove every single day through action. Because your life doesn't change when you decide. It changes when you act. Action is the only thing that creates change. Not thinking, not planning, not waiting for the perfect moment. Action, and listen carefully. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real. One step, one move, one decision that breaks the cycle you've been stuck in. That's how everything starts. People think success comes from big moments. It doesn't. It comes from small actions. Repeated daily. The gym you keep avoiding, the skill you keep postponing, the work you keep delaying. Those small things, they are everything. Because your life is not built in one day. It's built in what you do every day. So if you keep delaying the small things, you're delaying your entire future. But if you start taking control of the small things, you start taking control of your life. That's how power is built. Not in one big decision, but in thousands of small ones. But most people never take that first step. Why? Because they're waiting to feel ready. Let me tell you something clearly. You will never feel ready. There will always be doubt, always fear, always uncertainty. And that's normal. That means you're stepping into something bigger, something unfamiliar, something that actually matters. But the people who win, they don't wait for those feelings to disappear. They move anyway. They act while they're scared. They start while they're unsure. They keep going, even when everything feels uncomfortable. They don't negotiate with their excuses. They don't listen to the voice that says, "Not today." They move. That's the difference. So if you're waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. But if you decide to act, everything changes. Because action creates momentum. Momentum builds belief. Belief creates confidence. And confidence transforms your identity. You stop being someone who wants to change, and you become someone who does what needs to be done. That shift, it changes everything. Because once you see yourself as someone who takes action, you can't go back. You raise your standards. You stop accepting mediocrity. You stop settling. And suddenly, the life you once thought was impossible starts becoming real. Not because it got easier, but because you got stronger. And it all starts with one moment. This moment, right here, right now. This is your opportunity. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Now. So what are you going to do with it? Ignore it? Delay it? Tell yourself you'll start later? Or finally, take control? Because this could be the moment that changes everything. The moment you stop waiting, the moment you stop doubting, the moment you stop holding yourself back, the moment you decide, I'm done living like this. I'm done waiting. I'm done wasting my potential. And from that moment forward, you move, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when progress feels slow. Because discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, even when you're tired, even when you're distracted, even when every part of you is looking for an excuse to stop. And that's what builds greatness. Not motivation, not luck, not talent. Because motivation fades, luck is unpredictable, and talent means nothing without effort. Discipline, consistency, relentless action, showing up when it's hard, showing up when it's boring, showing up when no one is watching. That's the difference. Not perfectly, not confidently, but consistently, and that's enough, more than enough. Because consistency beats perfection every single time. Perfection keeps you stuck. Consistency moves you forward. Perfection makes you wait. Consistency makes you grow. So don't overthink it. Don't complicate it. Don't wait for clarity, because clarity comes from action. Confidence comes from action. Results come from action. You don't think your way into a new life. You act your way into it. Everything you want is on the other side of action. Everything. The life, the growth, the success, the version of yourself you keep imagining. It's all waiting for you, but it's not coming to you. You have to go get it. So start messy, imperfect, uncertain, confused, afraid. But start anyway. Because waiting won't make it easier. Waiting won't make you better. Waiting will only make you older, and one day, you'll wish you started sooner. So make today that day, because your future depends on what you do today. Not tomorrow, not someday, today, because there is no tomorrow, there is only now. This moment, this decision, this opportunity. If this message hit you, don't just feel it, act on it. Right now, I want you to make a decision. Not tomorrow, not later, now. No more waiting, no more excuses. No more, I'll start someday. Pick one thing you've been avoiding, one goal you've been delaying, one step you know you need to take, and take action today. Right after this, not later, not when you feel ready, now. No excuses, no overthinking, no waiting. And if you're serious about changing your life, subscribe to this channel, because this is where you come to build discipline, to sharpen your mindset, and to become the version of yourself you know you can be. This is where you stop being average. This is where you start becoming dangerous, focused, and unstoppable. Drop a comment saying, I start today. Make it real, make it public, make it irreversible, because once you say it, you can't go back. And remember, your future is watching you right now, judging your actions, measuring your discipline, waiting for your decision. Make it proud.